everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is the cover reveal for Paradise Found, my second chapbook coming out soon, and also just a little overview of what happened with my chapbooks, and specifically for this one, Paradise Found, but we'll also talk about just overall what happened. So first up, we're gonna do a positive. So I don't have the physical copies yet. I have proofs coming in, but it takes forever and ever. And I didn't want to wait because that would be like a week and a half. And I'm too excited. I'm too excited. And so I'm just gonna put up a picture of Paradise Found, and it's just gonna sit right here. So Paradise Found, ta-da! Isn't that pretty? It's seriously pretty. I'm just saying, it's really pretty. Just a little overview on the cover. So for Alpha Beta Poetry, Textural Love, and Teal Nostalgia, there's very blooming flowers, and they're either pink or red. I mean, cherry blossoms here, they're pink. That's a light pink though. The other three flowers on the chapbooks are very like blooming in your face, vibrant. But for Paradise Found, because these are one sentence, brevity, like short story poetry, they're very small. So the book is 210 pages, but they're not huge or even medium-sized or even small. They're like 1-2 lines, right? Okay, I think there's one that's 3 lines, and that's the only one that's 3 lines. So it's like quick poetry, you know? You read it, you think about it, you move on to the next one. It was very popular poetry. I think it's still pretty popular online. Mainly Instagram and Pinterest, because you have, you know, only so much room, and they're picture based. And I wasn't on Instagram or Pinterest, and I'm still not. So how did I figure this out? I was actually on, what's it called? Poetry? Okay, there's, allpoetry.com. Okay. That was on that for a while in college, and that was it was popular. Like, it came over, because if anything involving poetry, it's gonna be on allpoetry.com, right? So that's where I learned about it, and I just was churning out these one-liner brevity poetry, just out like dozens a day. And that's how I came up with a 210-page poetry book. And because it's very short poems, and like they're short, I mean, so there's like, okay, there's different ways you can describe these, and I think that's why it's popular on only certain places like Pinterest and Instagram, because it's really in your face, and it's quick because they're one line. So it's either called one line or one sentence poetry, brevity poetry, quick poetry, or what was the other one? I forget. There's a lot of names for it and I can't keep up. But so if you are looking for actual poems, like longer poems, wait until Teal Nostalgia, because it's not, if you don't want to read, you know, the other one, short story poetry, because it's basically, it's a, you know, like, who was that? I think it was an Irish writer too, who, it was like, write the saddest story in 6 words or something, and the writer put, was it baby shoes for sale unused or something like that? It was this type of poetry was inspired by that type of, you know, theme. Do you think it's not a theme? type of whatever. Okay, I'm blanking, obviously. It is early morning that I'm filming this because this is the only time I can film, and my mind's shot. Okay, I mean, I probably need some more coffee, but I digress. So please, I'm really excited, but I'm also tired, so it's obviously not a good mix. The cover, we're going to talk about the cover. As I was saying before I went on the what type of poems are in this book, I chose Cherry Blossoms. I love cherry blossoms. They're very gorgeous, and I chose it because it's subtle. It's subtle beauty. You could say compact because they only open, you know, a little bit, and then after, I forget the time period, but it's not long until they, you know, they fall, and then you just have the cherry tree for the rest of the year. I think maybe, don't quote me, I should know this, but don't quote me, like a month or two for the blossoms to, you know, bloom, and then they fall off and die. So it's a quick but beautiful bloom. That's really what I wanted to portray with the cover and the meaning of the cherry blossoms with the poems, because they're quick, but there's a meaning behind all of them. Now, I'm sure this is gonna be also a thing. I'm sure it's a thing, because there are poetry readers that will find poetry books that aren't like, you know, those big majestic poems, and they say that it's not poetry. I've actually gotten that with Paradise Found, and I'm sure I'm gonna get that with my third chapbook, Textual Love, because Textual Love is they're based on texts, like romantic texts, and then I, you know, made it more poetic, right? So, and those are also one-liners, but they're romantic one-liner poems. So I know I'm probably gonna get that for Paradise Found and Textual Love. If you're not into short story poems and, you know, all that jazz, then the second and third chapbooks would not be for you. Just putting that out there before you buy it, and then you open it and you're like, what is this? Because you're gonna be really confused. If you want, you know, poems, then you can go for Alpha Beta Poetry or for Teal Nostalgia. But for Teal Nostalgia, I'm gonna have to, you know, I'm gonna do cover reveals and info on all the chapbooks and novels. Don't you worry about that. But so we're gonna have a talk with Teal Nostalgia, yes, but not in a bad way, but in a good way, but also like trigger warning, okay? So it's a lot about mental health, love, heartbreak. You know, I think that's what poetry is all about. Actually, I have to think. I don't think there is any poems about nature in Paradise Found. Maybe like one. But a lot of it is kind of angsty. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I was a bit angsty when I was writing these poems, but I mean, isn't that the point of poetry? Just to get the angst out, you know, get it out. And a lot of it is about mental health, mental illnesses, trauma. Now, I put in the front of the book, if you know me, you're not going to know which mental health struggles I'm relating to. Sometimes you'll know just if you have, you know, known me for a while. But if you're new to it, you can't really pinpoint, oh, this poem is about her, and that poem she's talking about, you know, maybe a song that inspired her to write this, and she doesn't actually have, you know, fill in the blank. A lot of these poems was inspired by Lana Del Rey's writing, so that is also something to keep in mind. Don't assume that every single poem is about me, because there are some that will be shocking, but it's not about me. So, and I think when you read it and you come across some of them, I'm trying not to spoil it, you're like, oh, that's not Nicole, that's probably, you know, inspired by something else. So don't like freak out and think that I'm in like a dangerous relationship or anything, okay? So there's many aspects of inspiration and topics and all that jazz for Paradise Found, and I think that makes it more robust and intriguing and more diverse, because if I was just writing about me and my issues, then it's gonna be really repetitive, and then you'd be like, you need help, honey, you need to get help. And I reply, yes I do, and I did. So that's why I have a lot of other poems inspired by other things, because I'm not that angsty anymore. I got help. I don't have the problems that I had back in college, which was 5 years ago? Yeah. 5 years is a big difference. And you don't think that it does, but trust me, like, not the same person as I was 5 years ago. And that was really helpful to get out through poetry, and that's why I have so many freaking poems. But that's the point of literature, to heal yourself. So I really want all of my chapbooks, but since we're talking about Paradise Found, I really want readers that need some type of healing, even if it's just, you know, some awareness that you need to work forward and not, you know, go back in the past and stay in the past. I really hope that, you know, those readers find Paradise Found. So ebook is pre-order right now as of, what is the date? July 20th. So today you can pre-order the ebook, and the ebook is coming out July 31st. As I said in the beginning, I have to wait for the proofs, the physical copies, to come in. I just want to see if everything looks good. If it doesn't, then I'm be like, great, cool. So many people have been waiting for Paradise Found. Finally, everything went over well with the copyrights and all that jazz. I will announce when the physical copies are available. It's gonna be in the beginning of August, so it's not that big of a wait, so it's good to go. And I mean, anyway, if you buy the ebook, I think a lot of people like ebooks now. I don't get ebooks, but I get headaches when I read ebooks. So that's the only reason why I don't. Ebooks, really popular, but if you also want the physical copy, which I appreciate you so much, then August is where it's at for you, and I'll make a post everywhere. So if you want to find that information, I will post it on like that YouTube comment, or what is it, community section? I don't know what it's called, community section I'm gonna go with. Then I also will post it on Facebook. I have a mailing list, website, and a Goodreads. So that's all where that information is. So if you haven't followed me already on at least one of those, you know, then you can get all that information down below in the description box. Thank you so much, and have a great reading and writing day. Bye!